If collecting is your love,
I want more.
That's not true. He likes me because I'm loud and a brat and he can make me shut up later. Oh, I wish I didn't say that out loud.
Oh, the hits just keep on coming.
Stream so that I have a good looking head. When you say website, I don't think action figures. Thomas! Thomas! You and I need to have a conversation. You and I need to have a conversation because on the back is numero uno. I love this book. I love it.
Always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Before you get excited, that's a tail. The turtles had tails. Yeah, that's a tail. Thank you for pointing that it is a tail. That's a tail. The original turtles had tails. DCD Collects proudly presents signed, certified, and delivered. Each envelope has one 9.8 SIG Series comic book graded by CGC. These are hand-picked for you. 7 out of 10, my lord. It could take 6 months of being constipated before they die from the buildup. Not just any Iron Man. The Iron Man that saved us all.
in the box.
Doug! It's the captain!
And I gotta say, that shield was pretty fun to paint too. It's chunky.
It is chunky.
Chunky with the oil paint.
Yeah.
Call on me and collect with DCD. If collecting is your love,
I want more.
That's not true. He likes me because I'm loud and a brat and he can make me shut up later. Oh, I wish I didn't say that out loud.
Oh, the hits just keep on coming.
Stream so that I have a good looking head. When you say website, I don't think action figures. Thomas! Thomas! You and I need to have a conversation. You and I need to have a conversation because on the back is numero uno. I love this book. I love it.
Always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Before you get excited, that's a tail. The turtles had tails. Yeah, that's a tail. Thank you for pointing that it is a tail. That's a tail. The original turtles had tails. DCD Collects proudly presents signed, certified, and delivered. Each envelope has one 9.8 SIG Series comic book graded by CGC. These are hand-picked for you. 7 out of 10, my lord. It could take 6 months of being constipated before they die from the buildup. Not just any Iron Man. The Iron Man that saved us all.
in the box.
Doug! It's the captain!
And I gotta say, that shield was pretty fun to paint too. It's chunky.
It is chunky.
Chunky with the oil paint.
Yeah.
Call on me and collect with DCD. If collecting is your love
I want more.
every day.
That's not true. He likes me because I'm loud and a brat and he can make me shut up later.
Oh, people. People. It's gonna be a good day today. Crystal, Juan, babies, how are you doing? Hellbolt, love you, man. Hex, what it do? Hello, Mel. Hello, Jimmy. Oh, Hellbolt, good things are coming my way. So the card order came in and it's a little early. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. But it's here today. So you will see behind my nugget some of the usuals. Some new stuff is the 2025 Stadium Club UFC. The reason I got this, that's 2 autographs. What up, Don? 2 autographs in here, and Stadium Club has the best photography. That is the Topps Finest that we really liked. What up, Pat? This is 2021 Topps Chrome. I'm not going to lie, I got this mostly so that Dangle would come and be my friend again. And then this is a sick 6 auto football box. And then there's a box of Cheers. Now, the box of Cheers, I'm going to open one. I got it right here. This is for me. And then I got a box of Stadium Club Baseball that Doug wants me to open for him. Is that Jimmy? Yes, you did. Jimmy got 2 shots today. He had to go to the doctor. He's 10, so he got 2 shots. And man, that has been the saga for the last week and a half, is Jimmy and his shots. But now Jimmy is caught up to date on his shots, and we don't have to worry about him anymore. Oh, goodness. I've been here since 2:45, 2:03, something like that. So I've been here for about 3 hours, making sure these are up. You got a box of Stadium Club? Yeah, it's nice. There is more Looney Tunes. I started to open this and then I realized, oh, it's a sealed case. I want to show everybody that we have a sealed case, so there we go. Ryan Howard, I mean, there's worse autos. We already sold the first box of this. So that is back in the Heezy. I'm going to put the rest down below. All right. Oh, it's been a while since I've had some scotch. Yeah, so Jimmy. Let me tell you, listen, for those who are parents, you will understand this story. For those who are not parents, let me give you an example of what it's like to be a parent. So Jimmy was going to get 2 shots. He had to get a scheduled shot, and then we got him his flu shot. Because I'm not going to be political, but flu shots are harmless. And we get, and I get flu shots every single year. And the only reason I'm messed up is because of things not related to shots. So Jimmy got 2 shots, and we're at the stage of parenthood where bribery is the way to go. Oh, hold on a second. Hello. Yeah. James was absent from school today. He doesn't go to that school anymore, so I don't know why they're calling me. I love getting tattoos and still hate shots. needles don't bother me. Piercings don't bother me. I've had all of them. Yeah, this is Frank just got the call. Jimmy starts a new school tomorrow. We're pretty excited about it. The school seems very nice. But Jimmy, we had to bribe him. We're like, hey man, we'll get you 2 packs of Pokemon cards. If you get these 2 shots, we'll take you to the Pokemon card shop and we'll get you 2 packs. He gets the shots. He's fine. Doesn't cry. I want to say he was just playing us, making it sound like it was going to be bad so that we would bribe him, because he just did it straight faced, didn't nothing. So we get to the Pokemon store, and I was like, all right, buddy, you can get 2 packs. Like, you can get this pack and this pack, or you can get this pack and this pack, because they had a selection of packs. It's a local card shop. And he goes, all right, Dad, what's my budget? Now, that's a good question, because they had packs of 151, which are about $20 a pack. He had Chinese and Japanese ones, which are $5 a pack. He had, some stuff priced between $8 and $18 as well. So really good question, because no, I'm not buying him 2 packs of 151. So I was like, all right, buddy, you got $25 before tax for your budget. I was like, so you can get a Phantasmic, and you can get a Prismatic, or you can get a Prismatic and you can get a Evolutions. I was like, so tell me what you want. He's like, no, I want Evolutions, and I want Fantastical, and I want the Japanese one. And I'm like, and I'm looking, I'm like, wait, what? And then I look, and instead of buying the $10 and $12 pack, he went 10, 10, 5. And he did the math so quickly, adding 10, 10, and 5 and getting 25, that I couldn't even be mad that it's only supposed to be 2 packs of cards up to 25. It's my fault as a parent for not specifying the contract once he asked the qualifying question. When he asked, what is my budget? He was not asking how many packs of cards am I getting. He was then asking me what his budget was. I made the mistake of assuming previous negotiations applied. But when he asked the qualifying question, well, what is my budget? He did not say for the 2 packs. He just said, what is my budget? I, as the parent answering your budget is $25, and then giving examples, did not specify, hey, Kate, did not specify 2 packs. So Jimmy thought, I have $25. It was no longer I have 2 packs of cards. It was I have $25, and that boy, before I could catch on, spent that $25 in his head. And he said it so, I wish they had a camera that I could access so I could get a video of this interaction. Because he went, all right, I want that, and the $5 Gengar. And I'm like, wait, 10, 10, 5. And I knew it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give you all 3 of those packs. I'm not even mad at you. Yeah. No, exactly, Pat. Pat, you get it. You get it. Pat's like, yo, you in fact told him his budget was 25. He played by your rules. And I let him have it. You know what? First of all, three great lessons here. 1, be clear on your terms. That is a life lesson that even us adults, my union brothers already know this, but you as a non-union adult, and there are many of you in here, be clear on terms. That is a life lesson. 2, the speed in which he added 3 things to 25 was really good. I give him the credit for that. And 3, he said it with such a stone face. He said it cool and like as matter of fact, like that's what I'm going to take that, and that. And then he poker faced and just kept staring straight forward. Didn't look at me for confirmation. He placed his order and was expecting his payment. I can't be mad at that. He got all 3 packs. As a CDH player and union member, no words are very important. He walked out like he took the house. He did take the house. Let me show you his hits. And I need to top load these anyway, so this is a perfect time to do that. All right, where are my penny sleeves? I can't be mad at him. All right. From the Japanese pack, I can also use this for focus. He got a Team Rocket pack from Japan. Ho ho. Then from Mega Evolutions, he got the Venusaur, Mega Venusaur EX. It is a Moltres EX, Jim. It is not Ho-Ho, Moltres. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Hex. This is the nice textured foil. I like how the eyes flash. Three packs, 3 EXs. Stevens Metagross. Scuba! Hey, Carlos. No, you're not dumb, buddy. Hey, listen, I didn't know either. Yeah, that's that shiny. I think that's what they're calling shiny now. Don't quote me on that. I am not a expert. But yeah, this has like a very textured foil. It's just really, really well done. And I am not liking my levels on this screen specifically. Let me... No, I don't want to do it there. I want to do it on the brightness. There we go. So yeah, 3 packs, 3 hits. He asked me to grade them, so we're going to add them to the next grading order. Going to trade in the Godzilla for a new Pokemon pinball machine. Oh, man. Look at that. Gotta catch them all. All right, Money Mitch is not here yet, so we will start with Doug's box. What's in the box? So, Kate, I don't know what happened, but I can no longer hear the monitor. So I have no sound on any of my, I know you guys do, but I can't monitor the video, so half the time I don't know they're going on. I just want to give you that heads up. So if I miss your video that you paid for, I apologize. I try to catch them. Carlos, it is my private grading. I'm going to be sending in a grading thing. It's an OBS setting, so I turned monitoring on, and I still can't hear them. Doug did particularly well. He opened 2 boxes and got 3 autos, so he is ahead. All right, 2025. Don't you have some third-party audio thing too? No. I'm just going to insist on taping in front of a live studio audience from now on. That's going to be my next demand. 2025 Top Stadium Club. I don't know the variants on these, other than the obvious ones. So if there's something... Thank you. Thanks, Crystal. If there's something that you see that I miss, yell, scream, jump up and down. We're looking for Nick Kurtz autos here, I guess, right? How do I get the icon next to your name? I don't know, man. It changes per each Jimmy. Each channel has a different set of icons. Woo! Great photo. Here's an orange Vladdy. Ellie. That guy's got almost as many rings as Tom Brady. Oh, there's Michael Pierre Trout. Roki. Oh, Hellbolt, you won't cause any earthquakes, buddy. Shohei, I've heard of him. Gobi. There's another good one. This is actually part of the reason why I got the Stadium Club UFC, because UFC has 2 autos and way better photography. Isn't Shohei a hot dog vendor? Maybe. I know his name is Shohei and he likes to hit dingers. Suzuki. Case of emergency. Break Jacob Wilson. Adolis Garcia out of $1.99.
Beetlejuice. 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 It's showtime.
Oh, Don, you are so kind. Jimmy's now a sub. Say thank you, Jimmy. Onus. Jeter. You shot Jeter. Should have shot A-Rod. Savage Slugger Vlad Guerrero Sr. Jimmy was watching Pinion Paint. And he had mentioned to Pinion Paint that he is DC the Breaker's son. And somebody immediately gave him a sub. I don't know who did it, but thank you to that person. It was very kind of you. Oh, that is a numbered concentration. That's out of 99. Pero Martinez. Great shot of Mookie. Adley. Jackson. Another good shot. Mr. Chorizo. They say you can't find good chorizo in Milwaukee. Skeens throwing a football, because when I think Paul Skeens, I think Paul Skeens quarterback. Yours for the taking. I wonder if it's the alt, because that was in the position a hit should have been in. It's probably it. The Pirates struggle because they're not using the right equipment. That's a good idea. It's a very likely issue. Just don't say that too loud in front of Don. He'll get sad. There's Garrett. He's in the spotlight. Another good shot. That might be the alt. I'm going to put that aside. There's Nolan. All right, 2 packs left. We haven't hit the auto, so 50-50 shot. We hit it right now. Good shot of Manny. Looks like it's going to be some last pack action. Inadvertently saving the best for last. Should be behind Mr. Vato there. Ooh. I do like that. Dalton Rushing. And that's going to be a Stadium Club Chrome Auto. And of course, he's a Doyer. Is it? I don't know. It looks like a 3 or an 8 to me, Jim. So there you go. That will do well locally on the market. Take that to the card show. World Series champion Rushing. Two numbers and an auto. I know he's going to come on and ask me what he got, so I'm just going to leave that right next to me. All right, Money Mitch is still not here. Let me check to see if anybody else ordered anything before I jump into mine. Nope, okay, it's me. All right. Yeah, man, say whatever you want, Hellbolt. Six hours, you have extended your Japan learning streak to 700. That's nearly 2 years of studying Japanese. That's impressive, my friend. You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I had spoke to all of you and told you that I had recently got onto Whatnot so I could figure out what we're going to do when we get on there. And I've got a pretty good idea. But I'm Mrs. the Breaker and I did a few purchases for funsies. Nothing expensive. And one of those things was a wireless earbud translator. And we tried it out. Melissa spoke a bunch of Spanish to me, and I could understand and translate all of it. So now Mrs. the Breaker and I will be listening to the Basho in Japanese and having it translated live while we watch the sumo wrestlers fight, because there's 2 earbuds and there's 2 of us. They are awesome. Ugh. All right. So, these came out last year. Rittenhouse is known for their ability to buy beloved all right, I gotta change this. I just don't like the way it looks. buy beloved franchises and make very comprehensive card sets out of them. They only made 6,000 boxes. That's a very small run. 6,000 boxes. I got 2, one for me and one for one of you. Now, I know Cheers been off the air for 20 years now, maybe almost 30. But this is one of the things that my dad used to watch, and I would be able to watch with my dad because it was funny, and I liked Woody Harrelson. And there was a mailman at the bar, and my dad was a mailman, so we always got a kick out of that. So when I saw that there's a few of these boxes available, and they had 2 autographs and 1 relic card in each box, and they were pretty inexpensive, I said, Doug, I'm buying one, and I'm just going to give you the cost payment, so deal with it. And he said, okay. So box 4623 out of 6,000. Cheers. Because sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Kelsey Grammer and Ted Danson fall 1 per case on average. I'm sorry, either of them fall 1 per case on average. But there are plenty of guest stars in here that are pretty noteworthy. And then there are random one-time guests that nobody will recognize who they are, and they never did anything with their lives. That is entirely what I expect to get today. So let's take a trip down memory lane. Oh, these are the reward points. I better save these packs. I know people that do collect them. No bubble gum. Quotables. Hello, sweet cakes. You've been thinking about me? Only during flea and tick season. That's a quote. There it is. The old checklist. Checklist number 1. When I was in Boston, I went to Cheers. Or I think it was Boston. I can't remember if it was Boston or Chicago. Wherever I was, I went there before it closed. Oh, tell me they do the entire song. Man, that would be fun to collect. Thanks, Bolt. Checklist 2. Oh, title card. For those who never watched it, it was a really great show. Everybody wants to be Norm. I wanted to be Woody. Boy, it's funny how much bowling he would actually do in his film career, too. Yep, that was my father. Except for his pub was called Metzger's. Now, don't quote me on this, but I heard somewhere that, Cheers was a union show, and you cannot drink alcohol on a union show. But after a while, they basically said, you're going to need to get a waiver and allow us to drink beer because these shoots are getting ridiculous, and we actually need a few beers. And they relented. Memorable duos, Tom and Sam. Rhea Perlman, who was married to Danny DeVito for eons. Truthfully, I don't care about Ted Danson or Kelsey Grammer. I'm actually not a Kelsey Grammer fan at all. I don't like him as a human. These are the two autos I want. If I got Ted Danson, or let me say this, if I especially got Kelsey Grammer, if I got Kelsey Grammer, I would absolutely trade it for one of each of the other ones. All right, that's got to be an auto because that's yellow. Or not. It's just a numbered parallel. I did not know that they had numbered cards in here. I now know they have numbered cards in here. And knowing is half the battle. Numbered to 82. I wonder why. 82, it's got to be more than 82 shows. Maybe it started in 82? Maybe they just arbitrarily chose the number 82? His auto is in there. I believe Rittenhouse did case incentives, that if you bought a case or X amount of cases, true story, she was actually pregnant there, that if you bought X amount of cases, you as the retailer would get a special autograph from somebody. Oh, that is a very nice looking card right there. It is nicely textured. I'm going to say that's probably an auto then, if the yellow one wasn't. No. Apparently this is canvas. That is real canvas, not fake canvas. That is not a card that is finished to feel like it. That is actual canvas. See, folks, I like cool stuff. This is cool stuff. Now, I don't like who's on it. I would have taken literally anybody else from the cast on the canvas card. Now that I've been wrong about what the autos look like, I'm just going to assume none of them are autoed. All right, we're, I think, a little more than halfway through. If I were a company trying to protect my hits, this is right about where I would put them. Maybe it was 82 episodes. if the seasons were about 20 each. Did it go on for more than 4 years? I would have thought so. There it is. There's Norm. "11 seasons. Well, definitely more than 82 episodes then. Got to find the significance of 82 then. Oh, this one's thick. This has to be the relic. There is, in addition to 2 autographs, there is a relic in every single 2. And it's Woody's jeans. Hey, look, you too can get inside of Woody Harrelson's jeans. "275 episodes. What did Norm do for work in the show? I want to say he was a salesman. My recollection is fuzzy, but fond. All right, then I have to imagine if that's where that hit is, the next 2 packs should be autos. I quit. I am apparently the Jon Snow of this production. Oh, he's a fisherman. What'll it be, Norm? Fame, fortune, fast women? How about a beer? Even better. It was sales. Okay, see, thanks, Hellbolt. I did have a recollection of something sales. I knew sales was in the answer. Dietrich Bader. Hey, that's a name. Oh, man. For those who don't know who Dietrich Bader is, well, he was in Beverly Hillbillies. He always played a bit of a dummy goofball. Drew Carey Show? Yeah. Dietrich was in the reboot, right? Oh, let me make sure I'm not wrong. Napoleon Dynamite, Office Space. Yeah, Beverly Hillbillies. I was right. Yeah. I was right. And now my phone is ringing off the hook. So that is actually a pretty dope auto. What up, BK? I am not mad. I thought I was going to get 2 no-names. I am not mad at Dietrich Bader. And he's not even an advertised name in this. I mean, he's on the list. I saw his name. But he's not like, they're like, oh, Dietrich Bader. I believe we're down to the final 3. Allison LaPlaca. Paula Nelson. Behind every great man. I have no idea who she is. Let's look her up. All right. She was in the movie Fletch. She was the Pan Am clerk in Fletch. Television. She was in Family Ties, Cheers, Remington Steele, $25,000 Pyramid, Batman the Animated Series. She was Baby Doll. The John Larroquette Show. Johnny Bravo, she was the voice of Lois, the brunette. She was on Friends, Seventh Heaven, Hercules, Malcolm in the Middle, ER, Desperate Housewives, Grey's Anatomy, Boston Legal, Without a Trace. She did some stuff. People wouldn't know her by name, but she's got a resume. Better than my resume. I think that falls behind just person who showed up in an episode. So, in summation, that is a great card. We got 2 autos, a memorabilia card, and a numbered card. Last pack. Not bad for less than $200. That's actually pretty cool. Here, this needs to go there. I don't know why these are here. Boy, my office is messy already. All right. Let me see who's on the phone. Okay, it was my mother. My mother's going to New Orleans and wanted me to send her a list of things to do. Because the last time I sent her a list of things to do, she did half of them and thought it was a blast. So now she wants to take her friends. All right. Money Mitch is still not here. All right, well, that opens it up for everybody then. I will open up orders on demand. Don't forget, we have robots. In terms of art, we have robots, we have variants. In terms of comics, we have variants and we have signed sealed. And in terms of sports cards, it's all on the top and middle shelf. It was fun. It was fun. I give it my thumbs up. Voodoo Lounge, if it's still there. So last time I told her she had to go to the World War II Museum. She had to go to Preservation Hall. She had to get a hand grenade. She had to go Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. and she had to go to Orleans Cemetery number 2. What was the other thing? I can't remember the rest of the things I told her she had to do. What did I do? I think that's all I did too. Except for I also went to the dome. Oh, there's a haunted plantation house I went to too. I don't remember the name of it. I haven't been in New Orleans in a very long time. New Orleans had one of the best shawarma places I ever had in the United States. And it was this little place that didn't have a sign. Like a regular sign. It just had like a thing in the window that said shawarma. And my friend was like, this is the best shawarma. It was a hole in the round. There was enough space for like 4 people to eat inside. There were 2 tiny like dinette tables. And when I got my shawarma and I sat down, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I was sitting down and eating. She goes, no, you're supposed to take it and walk away. I was like, yeah, but I'm going to sit down and eat. I don't like eating cold food. And like people looked at us weird for sitting and actually eating inside the little tiny restaurant. But it was unbelievable. I finished mine, got up, bought another one, and took it with me. What's going on, Gamer Jay? How are you doing? Work? Yeah. Well, listen, I am great to put in the background. When working, a lot of people who are live right now are literally listening to me in the background. And not only that, there are a lot of people that listen to me during their workday, especially my shout out to my peeps in Australia. What up, Joe? Hopefully you got your sumo cards. What's going on, Ninja? Always good when you get to tune in and listen. And Ringa. Lots of people tend to listen to me while they're working. Aside from a salary, I get it. See, Kate's lurking. Yeah, I'm DC. This is DCD Collects. We do a select few sports cards, just things that I find that are decent value for your hard-earned money. But mostly we work with artists and get amazing art projects in the form of blind boxes, as well as signed comics and sketched comics from people you know and people you should know. My aunts and uncle took me to the backwoods place for a steam pop. Newspaper on the table and went to town. I got to do a boil in New Orleans. And it was so I like crayfish, but I'm not sucking the brains out of a crayfish. It was interesting to watch locals eat in New Orleans. I was all about the corn and the tails of the crayfish, the crawdaddies. I like a good crawdad po' boy. But it was interesting. Like, they do not let much of those animals go to waste, except the shells. Corn is good too. Those little small cut up corn on the cobs. The way all of the juices get in there, yeah. Put that on a cracker, dude. I'm not about the brains. I'm not about the brains. I got a thing about eating brains. That's a zombie thing to do. I can't do it. Ugh. It's been a long day today. We have been up and at it since 7 a.m. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. Jimmy's first day of school at the new school. Now, because the school is not the one that he was assigned, I do have to pick him up and drop him off every day, which is fine. But it does add one more wrinkle to my day. Okay, let me think. This weekend, what do we do this weekend? This weekend, so this upcoming weekend, we are going to Disney with Super Hex and his family. So we went looking for shoes, appropriate clothing, and other necessities for a Disney trip. Then on Tuesday, I was up in Santa Barbara. We are more than halfway done packing up everything that is in the old museum. We are like 2 weeks away from having the truck pick up everything and take it here. It is amazing the things that we find when we are cleaning up a museum. It was funny. Doug was clearing out his desk. And he's digging through piles of brochures and catalogs, mail. There's an envelope on his desk, and he lifts up the envelope and he looks inside, and it's a Walt Disney autograph on a 3x5. And not one, but two Dr. Seuss autographs, accompanied by a Cat in the Hat sketch by Dr. Seuss. Full stop. Not one, not two, or not one, but two Dr. Seuss Cat in the Hat drawings signed. That was just lost on his desk. If that's the type of item that gets lost on your desk, can you imagine what his collection used to look like? Did he find the E.T. script? We did not find the E.T. script, but we did find the Star Wars original script, and we did find an episode of Home Improvement, as well as an episode, or the movie script for Little Shop of Horrors. Sapporo's! Doug's desk. Yeah. It was interesting. Yeah. Then he's like finding stuff. And he's like, oh, I don't want this anymore. DC, do you want it? Yeah, sure. He's like, do you want to come over here and look and see what it is? I was like, no, because if it's yours, at one point it was awesome. So I've inherited little pieces of history and little things for James. James got some a Lego set. He got some of those Animal Fact flashcard sets that used to be that old school subscription service that you'd get like a pack of index cards to learn about animals every month. You know, back when education was behind a paywall subscription service before the interwebs. So James has those, and James was like, what are these? I was like, this is how information used to be disseminated. You would pay somebody and they would send you this information. Or you had this thing called an encyclopedia, and that you would have to update every 5 years because the information got old. Because we didn't have Wikipedia. I remember Kids Discover. Oh, yeah. Popular Mechanics, reading Scholastic News, yep. Yep, so James has a full set of those. Which, that is an interesting... That is an interesting... I wouldn't say it's a dissertation for your doctorate. But think that it was not so long ago that standard information was hidden behind a paywall. You could not freely go and get informed other than going to school, pre-college, or going to the public library and looking it up yourself. There was no internet. Computer programs, by the time they had information, it was out of date. Like, and you had to pay for those programs. At one point in human history, information and knowledge was behind a paywall. Now, information is the cost of your internet service that you basically at this point need to run your home in most non-third world countries. So when they issued the Nobel Prize to the person who invented the internet, quote unquote, the person, that was probably one of the most well-deserved Nobel Prizes issued in a very long time. National Geographic. Maps, love learning map works. Probably why I'm good at reading maps now. I was always fascinated with cartography. Jimmy, every once in a while, used to ask me to create treasure maps for him. And Mrs. by hand, I would hand draw them, just make stuff up. Mrs. the Breaker, I handed her, she's like, oh, what are you looking at, Jim? And he handed her the treasure map I drew him. And she's like, where did you get this? And he's like, Daddy drew that. She's like, no, really, where did you get this? And I'm like, I drew it. She's like, how did you draw that? What is it from? I just drew it from my brain. And she's like, normal people can't do that. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure if everyone tried, they could draw a map. But I guess, yeah, I was always interested in cartography and how it worked. The squiggly lines and how important they are. Now, don't ask me to read a topographical map, but I can read a regular map. I'm just reading real quick. Okay. Learn planning at a young age. Be my own adult to do adult things. Yep, and that is why you're awesome, Hellbolt. That is why you can figure out and navigate Japan all by yourself. Melissa and I would need like a team of 7 to figure things out for us. Actually, not anymore. Now that you gave us that app, the app pretty much does our work for us. We just need to come up with time and money now. Speaking of money, Whatnot should be very soon. Thanks. Friday, we are having the conversation. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to get here before 4 so that I can tinker with my vertical view and getting things signed up and connected with whatnot, getting the interface done on the computer. I'm going to try to do it on the computer. If the worst case scenario, I will just do it on my phone. I heard if you do it on the computer, it's a heck of a lot easier because you can actually use your phone to execute all of the tasks while OBS is doing the actual production for you. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. We're going to find out. What else did we brought a bunch of stuff back. I don't think he's going to want me to show you that. We got some of his treasures. But they're locked up in the vault that we have here now. I don't think we're going to show that. I feel like I brought something else that I was supposed to. All right, Hellbolt, love you, man. I brought something that I brought for the sole purpose of showing you. And now I don't remember if we put it in his car or if it's still sitting. Oh, it's still sitting. So, you should see if Doug will come in and do a little show and tell. He should do a show and tell. Trust me. You want him to. There is... In the things that he found, there was a bar at the museum, a full wet bar. They used to have a bartender. It was for entertaining because it was a private museum, so you could drink. And he was going through the bottles, and he's like, all of these bottles are no good. We're just gonna chuck them, and there's things that you can't save, like wine from 15 years ago. That's not the ageable type. And he had 3 bottles of Wayne Gretzky's wine signed by Wayne Gretzky. And he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I was like, I know what I'm going to do with them. I am going to take one of those bottles and I'm going to put it behind me, probably right about here, and have a signed Wayne Gretzky bottle of wine just hanging out in the background. He's like, yeah, take one. But we left it there. I remember we left it there now because I remember saying, oh, I got to go back and get that. And then us getting into a conversation and me not going back and getting that. So next week, I will have a Wayne Gretzky signed bottle of Wayne Gretzky wine here. He said if you do that, you have to get one of the Rams championship bottles and put it next to it. So I have to put a Rams championship bottle next to it too. So I think Wayne will go here and the Rams will go here. Brought his Lego. Oh, huh. Yeah. So, check this out. This is a true story. Did you ever have one of those moments where you're an adult, for those of you that are adults, and you're in the middle of adulting, and something happens, and you realize that 12 or 13-year-old you, if they were speaking to your age you, would never believe the moment you were doing something. That you were doing something, and then you think, if I was to tell 13-year-old DC that this was going to happen, he'd tell me I'm a liar and I am stupid. So I am with Doug and his friend Sham, our friend Sham, and we are packing up all of like the good stuff. And they had his Houdini collection was all boxed up. But the bottom shelf had a little pile, and he's like, hey, we went and bought sandwich bags. Will you go grab one of the quartz sandwich bags, and we go clear off the bottom shelf of the Houdini collection? I was like, okay, what's on the bottom shelf of the Houdini collection? It was Doug's entire collection of handcuff keys and lock keys that were personally owned by Houdini. When I say collection, there were 40. It was a pile. It took about 4 handfuls of me grabbing these keys personally owned by Houdini and putting them in a sandwich bag, because that's how you transport keys that Houdini owned. And I turned to Doug and I said, Doug, each one of these were personally owned by Houdini? He goes, yes. All of them certified. And we gave you guys, if you remember, one of our history breaks, we gave you one of his keys. He goes, yeah, all of these are from Houdini. He has numerous pairs of handcuffs and locks and letters from Houdini. And I said, 12-year-old me would never believe that here I am at 45 picking up handfuls of Houdini's keys and putting them in a bag. And I was like, and these are ones that he did stunts with. He's like, yes, these are his actual, keys that he used for his stunts. And I said, can you imagine how many of these were in his mouth, probably? He goes, DC, do you want to imagine how many of those were probably in his butt? Put it into a very different perspective. But he's probably not wrong. And I looked at him and I'm like, yeah, he would have people check his mouth before, wouldn't he? He goes, he did. And I'm like, so it's not a 0% chance that one of these keys may have been, if not in Houdini's butt, in his underwear. And he's like, definitely one of those keys was in his underwear. He goes, at minimum, probably 25% of those keys were in his underwear at one point. I love my job. I love my job. Cheers. So yeah, that was my Tuesday. How was your Tuesday? What else today? I think that's it. Yeah, just new stock, Houdini keys. Looking at my notes, I can't show you the other things. I don't have his permission, and it's honestly too. Doug. So we're moving stuff, and Doug has a lot of original art. And a lot of Doug's original art is like really big pieces of art, like famous artists. I'm not going to drop names, but he's got a couple of pieces by this one very famous artist that most people know. And I don't mean like big, like comic or Lee Cozy big. I mean like Picasso, Miro, Warhol big. And Don will know what I'm talking about because Don has been there. And Hex will know what I'm talking about because Hex has been there. He's got one artist, a very famous artist, very expensive artist. He's got numerous pieces by this artist in the studio, or in the not in the studio, in his. They're in the vault now. They were in the museum. Kate knows. And one of them is a really huge painting, like a real painting, not a print, not a G clay. And the other one is a painted statue. Doug and I both drove to Santa Barbara. Doug knows I get squeamish around the things that cost more than cars. Here's an example, and it runs in the family. Doug's mom, Ginny. I love Ginny. Ginny's one of the greatest human beings in the world. Ginny owns, and this is not a secret, she speaks very highly of, she owns one of the few Porsche specials. So there's like 550 of them in the world. Hand-built S Especial, carbon fiber. It's one of the most expensive Porsches that they produce every couple of years. The very first day I met her, she's like, what kind of cars do you like? I said, I like German cars. I said, I'm an Audi guy, BMW. She's like, great, you'll love my collection. She has a collection of Porsches. The very first day, she's like, look at this one. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I know that's special because it's gold. And I can see the carbon fiber. It is an expensive car. She's like, yeah, it's hand-built, blah, blah, blah. She goes, cool, huh? I was like, yeah, that's really amazing. She's like, get in. I was like, okay. She goes, do you want to drive? I was like, whoa, no, ma'am. No, ma'am, but you can take me for a ride. I will not drive this vehicle. This vehicle costs more than my house and both of my vehicles together. Mrs. The Breaker remembers this phone call. This is a true story. This car costs more than my 3,000 square foot house in New York and my BMW and my Volkswagen I own now. And listen, I'm not flexing. It's a crappy BMW that barely runs. But I'm just saying, even if it was new from 2015, 11 years ago, this car would be worth more than my house and both of my cars. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So it's a family thing. They kind of get a chuckle out of like saying, hey, you want to do this? No, but I'll watch. So Doug's like, hey, we're going to move this stuff. We're going to take it to the other vault. We're going vault to vault. Well, we're going museum to vault because he showed it at the museum. And he's like, I'm going to take the painting. Will you take the statue? Do I have to? He's like, yeah, I don't have room for it. Okay. So I have this wildly famous artist's painted piece. It's in my front seat because I'm not trusting it in the back. I want eyes on it at all times. He's got it in like a very special bag to transport it. And I'm like finding spare clothes in the back and wrapping it around there for extra protection. Now, I live in Southern California. The speed limits are 75. Or most people, 65. Most people will do 75 as like the base. Like most people are going about 75. The people who speed go between 80 and 120. And I'm not exaggerating. I flex around 75 to 80. I sit between 75 and 80. I have gotten a ticket in the state of California for going 80 in a 65. So I typically sit between 75 and 80, and I've passed cops and they haven't cared. That's a pretty acceptable speed, 10, 12 over in California on the 101, not urban. And we're on the coast. We're basically running parallel to the Pacific Coast Highway, the PCH. And that area, like unless you're doing 80, like above 80, like 85 plus, you're not getting pulled over. I normally do about 75. When my family's in the car, I usually do about 75. When I'm by myself, I'll do closer to 80 because I don't care. But when my family's in the car, I'll do 75. I did 60 in the right-hand lane. Because the moment I started driving, I started thinking, what if I rear end somebody? What if the airbags go off with the force of a shotgun and blow this thing apart? What if I get rear-ended and this flies out the window? Not that the windows were open, but that was my thought. Took me an hour and 55 minutes to go from Santa Barbara to Thousand Oaks, which is normally an hour 5, hour 10 drive. Doing 60, sitting like I am taking my driver's test. 10 and 2, straight back, seat up, no music on. Please don't rear end anybody. Please don't rear end anybody. Doug gets to the vault, which is near his house, which will, I was not going to say where it is. And he's like, hey man, where are you? And I'm like, I am in Seacliff. He's like, that's 40 minutes away. You left an hour and a half ago. And I'm like, I know. I'm doing 60. I'm not going to break anything. Don says the fun part would have been CHP pulling you over and you trying to explain why you have it, and Doug going, I don't know anybody named DC. That's right. Like, this is not mine. I swear, this iconic piece of art sitting next to me. Oh, no, actually, you know what, Doug? Here's the truth of the matter. Don, the truth of the matter is they would have looked at it and been like, yeah, that's a fake. Like, nobody would think a guy in a Volkswagen Jetta with visible rear end damage on it is driving around with a $20,000 painted sculpture in his front seat in a bag, looking like me. They would have just been like, no, that's not real. And just kept on going with their day and giving me a ticket. Like, it would not register on a police officer's, because we're in California, there's fakes here. They would have like, yeah, it's not real. Okay, whatever. That's just a facsimile. And they would have just went about their business. Yeah, yeah, that's anywhere else in like the world, people would be like, "Is that?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, that's a blah blah blah," and they'd be like, "Wow," and I'd be like, "I know." Here they're like, "Yeah, that's fake." Like, we'll go with that. We'll go with it's fake. But no, it would be hilarious if he's like, "I don't know him. Arrest that man." Use the old "I'm holding it for a friend." It would have been, that's right. It's not mine. I'm just hanging on to it for a friend. I just like to take 5-figure pieces of art for drives down the BCH. I just like to give them some air. I like to risk sun damage and car accidents for kicks. That's what I'm into. I'm so rich that I get my kicks off of almost breaking expensive stuff. That is my new kink. That's my new kink. Almost breaking expensive stuff. I go around with expensive things and go, oops. Or I'll be like just swaying the paintings on the wall on their hooks. Or I'll pick up like expensive glasses. I'll be like, oh, who made this? Oh, this is Baccarat. Oh, hey. That's my kink. No kink shaming here. That's what I get off on. I almost broke this priceless thing. Oh. But yeah, it was, I mean, aside from my child being born, it was arguably one of the more nerve-wracking moments of my last decade. Officer, you won't believe this. Got paid me to drive this statue around and show it a good time. And then he would go into my trunk and notice that there was an open bottle of tequila. Fun fact, there is an open bottle of tequila in my trunk. Don't worry, in the state of California, the actual accepted way to transport open liquor bottles is actually in your trunk. So, unlike other states, and I know other states for a fact you cannot have an open container anywhere in the vehicle regardless of where it is, in California, because, you know, beaches and picnics, you can have an open bottle of booze as long as it's in the trunk and you can't access it from the cab of the vehicle. So technically, the tequila in the trunk is legally how it's supposed to be transported. But just to add to it, be like, yeah, and I got a bottle of tequila in the back with a dead scorpion in it. Which is probably a crime in a state or two. It's cruelty to something. But I bought it in Mexico. By the way, that's been sitting in the sun. I don't think you guys could get me to drink it. I don't think there's a tip cup that gets big enough now for me to drink that scorpion moonshine. It's not tequila, it's moonshine. I really don't think you could get me to drink the scorpion moonshine now that it has spent about 2 weeks baking in the trunk in the sun. No, that easily has exceeded 100 degrees inside that trunk. It's in a black car that is in the sun. We are not in covered parking here. That easily has been stewing in that bottle at 100 degrees. So I'm sorry, if it ever gets into this studio again, I don't think you guys can get me to drink out of that bottle ever again. I didn't want to drink out of it when it was fresh after the first 2 shots. I really don't want to drink out of it now. Like, that has to be some really special punishment. I have to really screw the pooch for that to be my punishment, because that now is probably toxic. I probably have created something that goes against the Geneva Convention in the trunk of my car. I think that's not the first time I've said that factually either. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time. They need to update the Geneva Convention rules. I digress. All right, folks. Does anybody want anything of me? Or are we waiting until tomorrow? In 2 weeks.
Go ahead, have a drink, Lyle.
A little bottle of water.
A little bottle of water.
A little bottle of water.
Thanks, Sapporo's, for catching me without water. Bottle of Scorpion, yeah, right? Tomorrow or Friday for me? Okay. Listen, I know people don't get paid on Wednesdays. It came in early, so I was like, I'm going to open. That's actually why I opened my box and Doug's box today, because I had an inkling we wouldn't do a lot of sales today. I figured tomorrow and Friday would be the bigger days, so that's why I chose to do our stuff today. Money Mitch did buy a box, but Money Mitch was too busy to show up. What'd you miss? Suddenly, I forgot to turn the AC on. That's why. I'm like, why is it so hot in here all of a sudden? The boxes you did. I can show you what the hits were. Sapporos, for you, I'll show you the hits. I opened a box of Cheers, which, by the way, we do have one left. If somebody doesn't buy that tomorrow, I may convince Doug to let me open that one too. That's a fair warning. I'm not lying. Sapporos, I opened my box of Cheers, and I got a canvas card of a guy I hate. Love you, Carlos. Take care. I got a numbered card out of 82. I don't like Kelsey Grammer. I think he's a horrible human being. I got into Woody's pants. I got Dietrich Bader's auto, and I got somebody named Allison LaPlaca. But I mean, he's the git. That's a pretty solid auto. I am not mad whatsoever at that. That, to me, was really worth price of admission. Getting into Woody's pants, too, also worth price of admission. And then I opened a box for Doug. Right, he is. No, Sapporos, he is, yeah. I remember him from Beverly Hillbillies. He was great as Jed. He got in his Stadium Club a chrome rookie auto of Dalton Rushing, a 199 Garcia, and a 99 Aqua Pedro. So yeah. Yep. So his was a pretty good. Sapporos, he scored a really good box. He bought 4 boxes for himself. None of the Stadium Club is for sale. The only Stadium Club for sale, and Sapporos, you'll appreciate this. Oh no! This is a really nice box of UFC cards. This was last year's Stadium Club. 2 guaranteed autos. And yes, Patty the Fatty is in there. Those are for sale. But Doug bought some Stadium Club himself. So we opened a box yesterday, he and I. Nothing great. He opened a box this morning when I wasn't here, and he scored 2 autos in one box, which you're only supposed to get 1 per. But the other auto took the place of a numbered card because the auto was numbered. So he scored a pretty good. One of them was a name. It was a decent rookie. He's not like Kurtz or any of that, but he's a decent rookie. Pedro is undervalued considering his career. I agree. Speaking of Sapporos, I thought of you yesterday, or no, the day before Monday. On Monday, we're going to be doing Whatnot, so I bought a couple of things into breaks to see how Whatnot works. Cheap, $11 stuff. And it was a random person was assigned to you, and I got assigned Kurtz, and I was like, oh my God, if I score an auto, I'm going to find a way to get it into Sapolos's hands, even though they're super expensive. And I got Kurtz for $11, and the people when the name came up like, dude, you just got Kurtz for $11. I'm like, yeah, I know. And it was last year's Pristine and Museum collection. So any auto by Kurtz in that is a couple hundy. Easy. So I was like, damn, for $11, anything I get, I'll get at Sapolos's. Dusted. 5 boxes, 0 hits. I got 1 pristine base rookie, which is maybe $10. But all of the boxes were like hits of people that you're like, wait, who? Pedro was one of the autos. Pedro was an auto. Like, obviously that was known, but he's just, like you said, undervalued. And there was, the collation is horrible. There were just names where you're just like scratching your head like, he's not relevant, hasn't been relevant. Like, wow. And it's not like it was all hit 0 bases. That sucks. I at least did get a base. It might have even been a foil base, but hollow base, but he went through the bases so fast. He just said, oh, Kurtz is in there because he had mentioned, I can't believe you got Kurtz for $11. There were no name people that would end up bidding like $60 and get like Pete Crow Armstrong. And it's just like, oh, and here I got $11. I got Kurtz. So he was even like, man, I hope you hit something good. But nothing. So I have like one of his base cards coming. The autos were like, there was a Pete Crow Armstrong auto. The dude did score on his Pete Crow, but it's non-rookie. No one gives crap. It's non-rookie year. Pedro was in there. The nicest one was a Bo Jackson gold frame out of 10. That was the cherry of the Sunday. And that ended up being in the last box. He even said, he goes, this box is heavy. I'm going to do it last. There's a frame in there. And it was a Bo Jackson. Like that person, the Kansas City Royals, or no, it was player. The guy who got Bo Jackson hit a homer. But it was autos, and I'm like, who? Wait, what? This guy's not relevant. Like, we're talking like Cesar Izturis, like irrelevant people. You're just like, well, why did that person sign in museum collection? Like, who is this person? Golden Glove runner up from 3 years ago? The superhero ones? Oh my God, yeah. Spend $10, get Invisible Man. Get Mole Man. Yeah. Melissa, James, and I, we got a kick out of it because it's so fast-paced and ridiculous and people freak out so much. It's entertaining to watch. 5 heroes, and you're like, who? Yeah. So, box breaks, to a degree, are banned. You have to do them a very certain way. And how you do them on Whatnot is they put all the names on a wheel. And what you're doing is buying a random spot on the wheel. But you're auctioning the spot. So the spot can go for $6, it can go for $600. It's whatever you guys bid it up to. And they're usually 10-second auctions. It's fast, quick. He had like 400 names, 10-second auctions. So people were getting burnt out, and you would see stuff going for $8, $10. And then as the names dwindled, he had a list so you could see who was taken, who was not, which is very smart. So you could gauge, and then like one of them, it was like, yeah, I've seen him 600 spots too. It was like 15 names left, and it was Chorizo was in there, Trout was in there, Suzuki, or not Suzuki, the pitcher from LA was in there, Yamamoto, and there was like one other, like Ellie De La Cruz. Yeah, it was Yamamoto. And Ellie De La Cruz were in there. It was like a 1 in 4 chance of getting one of those names. In museum, Club and Pristine, again, any one of those names in an auto is a couple $100 in that product. Anyone. So those were going like $63, $58, $50. And then he started the second half of the list, $10. $10. Dude got Shohei Ohtani for $14. And it was just like, goodness, if you hit a Shohei auto, you are 20xing your buy-in. And if it's numbered 1 of 1, you're 200xing your buy-in. But it was insane. The dude had to have made, I'm going to estimate, he probably sold about $6,000 of sales on about $2,000 worth of boxes. I admittedly don't want to do it that way. Everybody knows how much everything costs, and we're not in the industry of ripping people off. That's why I don't carry a lot of the stuff that other people carry. Never do stuff like that. Yeah. I did it for research purposes, and I even told Melissa, hey, Mrs. The Breaker, I'm going to buy this because I need to know how this works. I need to understand how this goes. And she's like, yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Even I gave her the phone. I was like, here, try to buy something. Like it was fun. It was entertaining. So her and James were like obsessed finding like Disney stuff to buy. It was fun because we're doing it responsibly. We're not degens. So DCD Collects is not going to do it that way. We're not going to do 400 or 500 spot breaks. We will probably consider doing team breaks though, because there's a less chance of you getting ripped off that way. They do take so long. We will have guarantees, of course. You know that we don't let anybody leave empty-handed. We also had mentioned before, our Whatnot channel is not going to be like this channel. This channel is very transparent. We're telling you right now that our Whatnot channel is to make a profit. Here, you know exactly what our profit is. It's split pretty damn close to 50-50 with the artist. The difference is in packaging and anything extra we put in. Whatnot is going to be card breaks. We will have art for sale, but it'll not be auctioned art. We will have set prices for extra pieces of art that we have. Doug's going to move a lot of his collection through Whatnot at fixed prices or offers. We will do some old school structured breaks that will be team that, yeah, we will make more money than we put into it. But we're being very transparent that we expect our Whatnot clientele to be different than our DCD Collects clientele. We're always going to tell you, like these cards, we tell you we're buying them and we're adding 20%. It's not a secret. You can look all these up and you can look at what we sell them for. Take the number that you find the average retail, 1.2. We don't get discounts unless we buy cases. We don't buy cases, as you know, other than Looney Tunes. We are forthright. We make 20% out of all those. And if you take my salary and the amount of time I do all of this, we're losing massive amounts of money doing the small boxes. We will be doing more higher end boxes on Whatnot. The stuff that normally, is $400, $500, $600 a box that we can't typically sell on this channel. This channel is more for, I want to give you the best value. You're not going to see a box of Pristine up here. You're not going to see, you might see museum collection depending on the year, but definitely not this year. That other channel is going to be the stuff that's more of a gamble. This is more, DCD Collects is more value. Whatnot is chance. Just sent you a channel name. I'll watch. But we're very open about it. That's going to be a gambling-esque channel. Yeah. I have seen that one. I was Sapporo, so I was watching a channel where they had a card go for $23,000. And it was a 25-second auction. I'm not joking. The dude had an entire screen full of PSA 10 and 9 cards. He had, and he was just selling singles. He had a Jordan Kobe logo man, one of the one that were numbered out of 15. He had one of them. I think it was the 8, the graded 8, the PSA 8. And that thing went for, I think it was $16,000, $18,000. Now think of the chunk that they get taken out of it. They got opened in 8 minutes, 5 cases. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The only time I ever speed open cases is when I was doing the Rip for Tops, when they wanted us to do 1 million cards or 1 million packs in one day. That was the only time I rushed through. On What Night, I'll probably rush through because that's going to be basically our chop shop. I am not, like, listen, you can clip this and use this later. I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm not going to tell that channel this. You are our friends. We love you. We're going to tell you straight up. That is going to be the, if you want a game of chance, if you want a slim shot of hitting something big, that's what Whatnot's going to be. Here, this show on Twitch is going to be your value. This is where I find things that I open myself. I literally opened this myself. This is the stuff that I buy that I would open. The stuff that we're going to buy for Whatnot, I would not drop $800 on. I would drop $20 on a spot though. I would drop $30 depending on what it is on a spot though. But it's not, it's going to be two completely different animals. I will be a much different person on Whatnot than I will be in this show. This will be the real me. Whatnot will be me turning on the garbage side. Whatnot is the big box store. It really is. Yeah. All right, folks. Listen, it's getting hot in here, and I'm not going to bother turning on the AC because it'll take about 10 minutes to cool down. So I'm just going to leave. Last call, and then we're going to find somebody to raid if anybody's out there. I am toasty. Who the heck is this? Oh, this is the watercolor marker person, I think. Oh no, she's the watercolor person. Okay, we can do Tanessa or Batsky Starman. Batsky is doing digital art. Tanessa is doing watercolor. Oh, I will. Thank you, Siploros. Yeah, we will definitely be doing a dry run. We will probably be doing possibly a friends only initial break for a test where it'll be free fitty or $1 for like something good just to get y'all in at the same time and test the system. But we're going to talk about it on Friday. All right, we'll do watercolor. All right, folks. Fact of the matter is, I love each and every one of you. Take care of yourselves and each other because you're going to want to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're probably going to open up a lot of stuff. I'm also going to give permission whether I can show that thing to y'all that is in the vault. So, yeah, you're going to want to be here tomorrow. Take care, be safe, protect yourself, protect your neck as the Wu-Tang Clan tells you to, and be safe. I want to see you tomorrow. I think we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. In the meantime, let's see an artist do some arting. Good night, everybody.